Hello, this dark background I have right now, that is the night sky of Salt Lake City. I'm sitting in an airport coming home from Santa Fe. I had a great time on the book tour there, and I was able to do another in-person interview with a designer out in Santa Fe. Her name is Heather French of French and French Interiors. I've had her on the show before many, many years ago. So anyway, I'm delighted to have her sharing her home with us. Also, it is decked out for the holidays, so you're going to be able to see that aspect of her life as well. And also, just like I did with the last Designers at Home episode with Julia Chasman, at the end of the interview, I'm going to go over some of the design terms or just design elements, I guess, that Heather brought up during our conversation.
So welcome to another home tour of one of my favorite designers, Heather French. This is Heather's and Matt's home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I know if you've been listening to this podcast, I go on and on about how much I love Santa Fe. So this is a special treat for me to be here in this gorgeous home. So I'm excited, Heather. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited that you're here.
Great, great. And just before we keep going, we have to introduce our other guests.
Yes, this is Birdie.
Hi, Birdie.
She's a Bernedoodle, and she thinks she's the center of the world.
Yeah,
and she is.
She's the center of our conversation right now. Okay, so let's just get the lay of the land first. Tell us a little bit about this home. How long have you lived here? A little bit about the style, the architecture, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so we've been here coming up on it about 3 years, and it took us probably about a year in total to remodel. So the house was really it didn't have a whole lot of life to it. It was like a 1950s style house. It just hadn't really had anything done to it, which is what we were looking for.
Right. You and me both. Like, I don't want a finished house. Yeah. I want to do my own thing.
Right. You don't want to pay for a bad remodel. So
yes.
We really didn't have to change much of the flow, but we changed all the fixtures and finishes.
Okay. And it is great. Adobe.
It is not. It's an Adobe style house. Stick frame. Yeah. I think to most people's eye, it looks Adobe. It's a territorial style home. And with a Adobe type of look to it. Okay,
so the shape, the architectural shape of it feels Adobe to me, and in my mind, I mean, I know that that's a specific technique that you use and specific materials you use to create a house like that, but I feel like what it does and what all these homes around here do is sink into the landscape, which I think is what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, we live in one of the strictest historic societies in the country. And so everything downtown is like an Adobe brown color.
Yes.
And so I think Santa Fe has this real charm to it. I always say it's like raised out of the earth. And it's a beautiful place to live. So yes, our home is like that.
Well, it's funny because last week on the podcast was showing clips from the best of 2025 and interviewing someone who is Italian, and she and I were both talking about the town of Siena in Italy and how it's the same thing. I mean, there are codes about what colors you can paint, and it has to be of the minerals of the earth from the town of Siena. And so the whole town it's a very similar color to the Adobe color here. It's those earthy browns. And it makes the whole place have a sense of place. And I think that's what you do so well in your work is you respect the sense of place, but then you make sure that the homeowners' insides are showing through as well. So it's a nice marriage of personality.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we that's definitely what we try to do for sure.
All right, well, let's see the rest of the house. Okay. We are in the front room, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I've seen it many times in photos, but to see it in person, it's a wonderful way to walk into someone's house and just immediately see who the person is, or in your case, the family is. Tell us a little bit about the design choices, the wallpaper, the chairs, the patterns.
Sure, yeah. So I think the big move in here is the wallpaper on the ceiling, which a friend of mine designed with Isidore Leroy, Claire Stasak from Center by Design. She's amazing. Oh. We love her.
So it looks like Italian marbling.
It does. Yeah. And so this is kind of my favorite aspect of the room. And I love adding something really special to a ceiling, especially when the architecture might not be, over the top. And so in the rest of the space, we added all of this millwork in here. So that was kind of the bigger architecture move to kind of make this space have a bit more of a purpose. So we use this space for more intimate dining. Our daughter studies here all of the time. We do really use this as a library. So when I'm looking for inspiration, this is our inspiration library.
I love the round table. I think that especially in this size room, it's not a very big room. So you can see that having a round table for dining makes everything more intimate. I love the fact that you've done, a solid on one side and a pattern on the other with this beautiful piping.
One of the ways to use a lot of patterns is like functionally, you might not want to have the back be white, because it won't hold up as well.
Right.
And so I'll do like a mohair, something that's a little bit more durable on the seating, and they clean really easily, which is nice. But yeah, it's a nice way to add some contrast and get more pattern.
Exactly. And we can't miss the fact that it is decorated for the holidays.
Yes.
So we've got persimmons, I think, and oranges.
Yep.
And is this something you do? Is this like a tradition of yours in your home to do a lot of the piles of fruit, which feels very traditional, but it's so vibrant. It's not stuffy at all. It's and you've got the tomatillos here, for a little bit of green. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thanks. Yeah, we go all out for Christmas. It's really fun. So you'll see as we go through. It's we're just a few weeks out from Christmas right now, and the whole house is kind of over the top. So
well, what I'm noticing too, though, and I think this is so helpful for people, is that presumably, these pewter or silver bowls and compotes, they're just something you own. It feels more connected to daily life and to how you live normally throughout the year. It's just elevated.
Right. Yeah. We kind of like embellish and cozy up what we have for sure. And there's also boxes and boxes of things that also come out.
Sure. Right. It's a mix of both.
Right.
Yeah. Well, right. All right, well, let's keep going.
Great.
So we move from the library into this beautiful banquet area.
Yeah, we call this our dining hall. It's a tiny, literally a hallway. So this was one of the spaces that was a hallway when we first moved in.
It really was a hallway.
It really is a hallway. And I was like, this is a really large hallway. What do we do with this?
Yeah.
And we host a lot. I mean, like sometimes a few times a week. So we needed a bigger table to be able to fit a lot of people. I mean, I've had 15 people crammed in here.
And was this already a cut in?
Or it was.
Did you have to?
Yeah, it was. It was exactly like this.
Okay.
And so we added some of these architectural details that you see, like the arches, just to kind of make it feel a little bit more like a room. And then decided to bring the banquettes out and kind of match these architectural details.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. I do love that detail. Tell us a little bit about what this looks like needlepoint.
Yeah, it's actually it's a Schumacher fabric that is a needlepoint.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous. I love this fabric. I love all the little floral details on it.
Yes, it's precious, but I think because it's on this dark chocolate background,
right?
I don't know. It doesn't feel overtly sticky, right?
Right.
I don't know. It feels like it's got some weight to it.
Yeah, I think when I'm choosing fabrics, I'm always rechecking myself that there's a level of sophistication to whatever we're doing, and darker browns and fabrics really does that. And then just for functionality, we did a goldenrod mohair on the seats.
Yes. And it's the kind of thing you really want to run your hand over. And then you've got the banquette is skirted on the bottom with some beautiful box pleating, which I love. This looks bespoke. Tell us a little bit about the table. Look at that scallop shape.
Yeah, we did this custom table. It's based off of an antique table from Walter Anderson, and there's these little woodpeckers on the base that are his favorite.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I might have to get a shot of that later.
Which are
yeah, let's come over here. So I want everybody to see these woodpeckers. I mean, really, those are just gorgeous. Is this a local artisan that did this for you?
Yeah. We had it commissioned with him. He's super talented.
Oh, and then tell us a little bit about these sconces, which also look phenomenal.
Yeah, I found those on Cherish. I can't remember exactly what they are, but I thought they were perfect for the space.
They really are.
Yeah, they're like a little nod to Santa Fe with the arrows. But they're Italian actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the eggs.
Yeah, the Dodo Light from Beata Human. Yeah, I love these. They're great. She's an English designer, and I love her work. So.
And again, the little Santa Fe nod with the feathers that are coming up.
Yeah, exactly. And Santa Fe has a lot of tin work, and
right.
so keeping that kind of like nod, I think, is important.
I love it, but it's modernized, which is so cool.
Exactly.
Because I know you love to mix. So
I do.
Yeah,
I try.
Okay, let's go into the kitchen. Well, first we're walking through. It feels like a butler's pantry to get into the kitchen.
Yes.
Now, did you add this?
We did. So originally, the kitchen was very different, and we moved quite a bit around. And originally it was a galley kitchen, and this was a dining space.
Oh,
but
okay.
that we entertain so much and we cook quite a bit that tiny galley kitchen didn't work for us. And then
fabulous ceiling fixtures.
Thank you.
I mean, if you have to have overhead lighting, this is the way to go.
Thank you. Yeah. So in here we also, instead of doing recess cans, we decided to do these visual comfort starlights.
What a great choice.
Yeah, which I love. This is probably one of my favorite details in the house. And then it's hard to see, but there's a very faint yellow and white Sister Parish wallpaper on the ceiling as well.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, it's hard to see in camera.
Right. It's charming. It's it feels very kitcheny. But this is clearly a cook's kitchen. Tell us a little bit about this gorgeous, I mean, you just want to touch. This is an old butcher block that you've added some nice curtains to.
Yeah, exactly. So this is an antique French piece. We ended up using it as the front desk for a long time. I mean, years and years and years.
Okay.
And then when we bought this house, I was like, actually, I have the perfect piece, and we didn't have a store anymore, so we didn't need it.
Yeah, I love it.
So we put it in here. But yeah, it's a French butcher block. And I love that you can see like the wear of everything.
Me too.
Years and years and years of work that happened on it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think another, everybody needs the function of being able to hide stuff underneath. So we did this Stone Britain little curtains.
This is an adorable bank hat.
Thank you.
So this must be where you have breakfast or coffee.
Yep. I really wanted an eat-in kitchen. I wanted our daughter and Matt and I to really kind of linger when somebody is cooking or doing dishes. It was a really, really tight space. And I kind of love that. I mean, you can see the chair overlaps the the cabinetry. And I don't mind that, we use that chair way more than we use these cabinets. And so, when I
put things in there that's used once a year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, these are on wheels.
Yeah.
Very nice. What I've noticed is I feel like people get overly attentive to or worried about things just like this. Can't buy these chairs, can't put a bank hat here because, of this. And I think you're saying, I mean, if you think about it, who cares? This is so worth it.
Yeah. I think there's a balance between form and function sometimes. And this was function versus function.
right.
And
two functions. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And the reality was I knew that we were going to sit here multiple times a day. This is where breakfast and lunch is eaten.
Yep.
And and so having the chairs was more important.
It was more important.
I think this is something that a client would push back on.
Exactly.
But it's my home, so I can do it.
Yeah, exactly. and we just have to ask about this beautiful antique table. So
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so this is a Gustavian table that I found at a local antique shop here. And you'll see we have a lot of we have a larger Gustavian collection throughout the house.
Okay.
So you'll see that throughout the house. And I love that it's just worn and buckled, and
I do too.
We have to wax it multiple times a year to keep it alive.
And the flowers are fading on top, but not on the legs, which is
exactly.
And is this a personal collection here going on here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. So they're just antique copper Jello molds, and I don't make Jello nor eat Jello. But I like the way they look.
I do too. I do love them. They're very charming. They feel kind of French to me.
Yeah.
And then before we leave the kitchen, I just want to note again, like it's little, this is just a bit of boxwood with a ribbon, and it just makes the whole kitchen feel special for the holidays.
Thank you.
I mean, that's not that hard to do, but you have to do it.
Right, exactly. They're really simple ways. You just buy a real ribbon and like the boxwood we cut from the backyard.
Great. Actually, I lied. One more thing before we leave the kitchen. Let's talk about these plate racks, because I love a good plate rack, especially if it's got some dishware in it that's meaningful. And right now, it looks like you've got your Christmas dishware in there.
Yeah, we switch out our dishware to holiday dishware.
Love it.
And so we have that in there now. And I don't really like open shelving, but I do like a dish rack.
Okay. What don't you like about open shelving?
I don't know. I think it doesn't function very well for our family. But this is a little bit smaller. You can kind of keep things tight. You're not going to pile a bunch of not so pretty things on it.
Right. It has one purpose.
Yeah. Exactly. It's purposeful.
We came down a little bit of stairs to get into this gorgeous, gorgeous space. There's so much to talk about in here. Where do you want to start?
Thank you. Yeah. We call it the big room. I don't know why, but we're not very formal people. So we watch TV and movies in here, and we entertain in here quite a bit. And I really wanted a kind of unconventional layout that could accommodate quite a bit of people.
Okay, talk to us about that.
Yeah. So we have this seating area here,
right,
and this sofa kind of overflows to it, but the talking area is kind of more here.
Yep, and it's nice and close, so you can have a good conversation.
Exactly. But for movie watching and lounging, this area and that sofa is really, and this chair is really what's used the most, and not this so much. So I love how it can kind of function as different, different uses.
And talk to us a little bit about the color scheme.
Sure.
Loving the chocolates and the greens and blues.
Yeah, I think because it's such a big space, I really wanted to keep it sophisticated and it have like a grounded feeling to it. But I wanted to use pattern, and I wanted to use color. So we did a more neutral pattern on the grass cloth on the walls.
Yeah,
which is an Elizabeth Aiken grass cloth.
Oh,
and really jumped off that for the colors of like the browns, the beiges, the creams, and off-whites.
There's so much texture in this room, and I know that you do that a lot in your designs, but we've got the rattan, we've got the linen, we've got the grass cloth. Is this mohair or velvet?
Yeah, it's a velvet.
And more linen, you've got the brass, you've got glass, you've got wood. I mean, it's just, this to me, rooms come alive with this kind of texture.
Thank you. Thank you.
These are huge. Love the scale of these overheads.
Yeah, so we wanted to, the space felt really large to Matt and I.
Okay.
And so we wanted to kind of human scale it. I think adding in tall drapery and then really large overscale lighting is key to doing that.
It has an airy feel to it because it's not solid, which I think is lovely because it's then not weighing down the ceiling. You've already got do you call them vigas here? What do you call those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are.
Which could feel heavy, but it's painted a beautiful cream, so the whole thing still feels light. But then the bottom third of the room has this lovely weight to it that is, you want to sink in.
Thank you. Yeah, I love this space. It's one of the most comfortable spaces in the house.
This mantelpiece is decked out for the holidays, which I love, but this painting is also quite stunning. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is a piece by Blaine McCauley. She's an Atlanta artist, but she came out here to Santa Fe and did a residency.
Yeah.
And this was her take on Georgia O'Keeffe's house. So I love this. It's like a little nod, and I've always wanted to have a piece of hers. So this was the perfect opportunity.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
It feels very meaningful and of the place for sure. The poinsettias are in these gorgeous baskets. I tell people when you're, especially if you're thrifting and antiquing, if you see any big plant holders, buy them.
Yep.
Because if you're not getting them thrifted, they're very expensive.
Yep.
But okay, this versus the tinfoil wrapper that they come in.
Don't use the tinfoil wrapper, guys.
Just
put them in a planter.
So homey. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they're not planted for real. They're
in their pot.
They're in their pot for now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I want to keep going with the holiday theme because there's these really stunning garlands that going up your staircase. So let's walk over there and tell us a little bit about, do you do this every year? It's the oranges again. And
yes. Yeah, we do this every year and it's always a little bit different every year.
Right.
And so this year we have a spruce and then layered in, bows and ribbons and the dried oranges and
I see you use different types. So last year, for the first time, I did a dried orange garland. And I specifically looked for all the different colors because you've got the blood orange and then you've got the grapefruit and then you've got the pink grapefruit. And you've done that too. And I just think it's so festive.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's orange season. So why not,
Yeah. Well, I can tell that this house is very merry.
Thank you.
At the holidays.
Thank you.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for taking us into your home. It's it really is an honor to come into somebody's private home. So I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed that beautiful home tour. Let's jump into some of the terms and references that we were making during our conversation in case you didn't catch everything. So the first thing I want to mention is our discussion about adobe houses or adobe style architecture. Real adobe bricks are made from clay and other things, and they're put into these mold. You can see in the picture on the right, they make these brick molds. They put the material in there. Then they pull the bricks out and let them dry in the sun for a few days, and then they use mud to plaster over everything, and you get what looks like this. On the left, you see a very sort of humble adobe dwelling. On the right, you see something that is a little bit more grand. Heather was saying that her house is not made out of adobe bricks, but it is meant to look like adobe. And it is that style of architecture called territorial, very low ceilings melting into the landscape. As I mentioned, here's a shot just of downtown Santa Fe. We were talking about how in Santa Fe there is a requirement that all buildings use the same colors and the same general style of architecture. And then the next thing we talked about was the ceiling in her front room, the library. She used this Isadora Leroy paper by Claire Stasic. Claire is a designer. Her firm is called Centered by Design, but she created these wallpapers. And over on the right, I just wanted to show you what I meant when I said it looks like Italian marbling or paper marbling. This is how it's made. So the artisans choose different colored inks and they sort of let it rest on a bath of, I don't know, something viscous, I guess. And then they start to rake tools across the different colors that then create these patterns, these shapes. It's really quite amazing. And here now you can see the ceiling in the library of Heather's house. And then I also mentioned the piping on the chairs. Now, probably most of you know what piping is, but just in case you don't, do you see this very thin band of blood red that is outlining the silhouette of the furniture? Sometimes it's called roping or piping. That's what we're talking about there. On her banquette, she said that she used Schumacher's Annika, and it's like a needlepoint fabric. And we specifically talked about the choice of the background color that she used, which was called cocoa. It's a very deep chocolate brown. In my mind, kept the banquette from looking overly feminine or sickly sweet. You can buy the same pattern in an ivory background, which is light, and it just gives a completely different feel. We also saw in that same area a lighting fixture by English designer Beata Human. She's one of my favorites as a designer, but she also has a shop where she creates some products, and this is one of them. So Heather's dodo egg lantern was in this, I don't know what kind of green that was, a very bright green. And here you can see it's in brass, but with the brass option, you can really see how there are some feathers that are coming out on the top of the lantern. We also mentioned Sister Parish. She used a Sister Parish wallpaper on the ceiling of her kitchen. Sister Parish, very, very famous female designer. She started her design company in the 30s and eventually was asked to do the White House by Jackie Kennedy. And then she eventually partnered with a very young Albert Hadley. So, Sister Parish and Albert Hadley, two huge, huge names, foundational American designers. So, you should definitely know a little bit about them. Sister Parish is still in business today. It's run by the women of the family, Sister Parish's granddaughter and great granddaughter. We also talked about a little table in the Eden kitchen area of Heather's house, and she mentioned Gustavian furniture, which she has a bit of. Gustavian furniture is named after one of the kings of Sweden, King Gustav, um, and he was really taken with Versailles and that over the top elaborate French furniture design. But when he brought it back to his native Sweden, he also wanted the materials to be much simpler, more common woods to be used. There's a preference for painting the furniture rather than using gold embellishment the way King Louis was doing over in Versailles. And this made it much more accessible for regular folks living in Sweden. In Heather's great room, she used this wallpaper that reads kind of tone on tone, although I think there's a little bit more color to it than that. But anyway, it's an Elizabeth Aiken pattern. It's called Allure. It's printed on grass cloth. And I believe the colorway that Heather used was this very neutral colorway, but I just popped up a couple of other options that Elizabeth Aikens has on her website. And you can see how when you change the colorway, you really change the feeling. And then finally, I wanted to just give a shout out to the artist that created the painting that is hanging over Heather and Matt's mantelpiece in the great room. The painting is by Blaine McCauley, who's an artist out of Atlanta, Georgia. And the subject matter of the painting is Georgia O'Keeffe's home, Ghost Ranch, out in Abiquiu, New Mexico.